How's it going out there today, guys? So today I want to share with you another holster that I purchased a couple weeks ago from We the People holsters. What drew me to them was I was on Facebook and they had a $10 off coupon. I think their holsters are normally around $34, a little bit more if you want like a custom color or design or whatever. But they're normally around $34. The $10 off coupon, they were 24 bucks shipped. And I thought, well, shoot, man, even if it's a crappy holster, you know, 24 bucks, that's kind of hard to beat. So I thought it was worth giving a shot. So I ordered it, and I actually got the carbon fiber, which was like I think $4 or $5 more. So I ended up paying like right around 29 bucks for this holster, and it got shipped out to me in about a week, I think. But yeah, so my initial impressions were that I really thought I was gonna like this thing. You know, I was looking, like I said before in one of my holster videos, I was looking for something that's easy to take on and off, that I could just, you know, if I had to go somewhere I couldn't carry or something like that, that I could just take it off and put it back on, you know, a lot easier than, you know, like a double clip hybrid holster or something like that. So, like I said, for the money, I thought, shoot, I'll give it a shot. You know, it seemed fairly well made. The edges mostly were rounded off pretty nice and everything. One thing I did notice was that I didn't like was that the Kydex didn't actually cover all of the trigger guard. If you can see, there's a little bit of light through there. Now, obviously, it's going to, you know, nothing's probably going to get up in there around your trigger. It's not really enough space for anything to get in there. But just personal preference, I like for the entire trigger guard to be covered up to that, you know. I really don't like being able to see light through there. That's personal preference. I mean, I'm sure it seems to function fine. You know, I never had my trigger get depressed or anything wearing it the last couple of weeks. Another thing I kind of wondered about was it's got kind of these weird flares here. It looks like it's for the safety, but as you can see, it doesn't actually come down around the safety on my M&P 9C. Or no, I'm sorry, not safety, the mag release. I don't have a safety. Sorry. Bear with me, guys. I'm a little slow today. I went to work at 8 o'clock in the morning yesterday and didn't get off till 3 o'clock this morning, so bear with me here. But yeah, so my first impressions were, you know, it looks like a pretty nice holster, you know. Clip seemed pretty sturdy and all that stuff. So I thought I was gonna like it. Whoops, sorry about that. So yeah, but I've actually run into several problems with this holster. First one being it came with rubber bushings in between the clip and the Kydex holster itself, okay? These bushings actually push the clip out quite a bit further, about like that, so that it doesn't really clip on your belt that well. I actually was practicing drawing with this thing and actually had the whole holster come out of my pants several times. So I thought, all right, you know, not that big a deal. I'll just remove these bushings, and then, you know, it'll bring it in closer. And that seemed to help quite a bit. But still, I wear an inch and a half wide belt, and that's what this clip is made for. And I had a heck of a time getting this thing on to my belt to where it would stay. and I wasn't confident in it enough that it would stay on my belt, you know, getting in and out of the car, and moving around a lot. I did have it actually slip off my belt a couple times, and to me, that's a big concern because if I go, you know, I need to use my weapon in self defense, and I go and draw my gun and my whole holster comes out, that's not really helping me now, is it? Now I've got a whole new problem. I just drew a gun on somebody that I can't use. Some other issues I have with this holster are that the Kydex doesn't actually come up and cover, you know, cover the sights to where they come against your body, and me being a little on the heavier side, that tends to dig into my side, into my love handles there. So, and this flared out section here that I was talking about around the mag release, that can be a little sharp, and I'm not really quite sure, again, why that is like that. The retention of the holster itself is good. You know, it's got the audible click you want and all that stuff, and then it's got an adjustment, you know, so you can tighten that up if you want. Now, quite honestly, most of the problems with this holster stem around the clip itself. I've worn this thing off and on for 2 weeks. I honestly can't really stand to wear it anymore. It's not comfortable. The edge here digs into the side of my leg. Or I guess it would be, yeah, this side digs into the side of my leg. I've actually got some bruising there from where this was just kind of jamming itself into my leg when I'd move around and sit down and stuff. That could be because I'm carrying a compact pistol. You know, I've heard lots of guys say they like these holsters, you know, and I've seen lots of good reviews on them, more good than bad. Maybe if they're carrying, you know, a full-size pistol, you know, that may bring it down a little bit farther to where it doesn't dig into their leg like it did on mine. But yeah, I just wanted to share my experience with this holster. I initially had a first impressions review I was going to do, but I decided after recording that and after wearing this for a week to not even do an update video, because I didn't really want to mislead people into buying something, you know, if they didn't get a chance to check out the update video. So, unfortunately, I will not be recommending the We the People holster for consideration, guys. Like I said, lots of people have had good experiences with them and like them. I just can't give that experience. That hasn't been my experience. They also advertise it as a deep concealment holster, which, you know, you've got an adjustment here so you can can it. You've got 4 holes. You can can it if you want, but I found that to be even more problematic if I canted it to the angle that I usually like to carry at. And then if you move these screws up, then you've got even less room to get your belt in there. So, yeah, but they advertise it. They do say, at least they said in some of the comments that I saw responding to people, that it is a deep concealment holster. Well, it's definitely not. And actually, when I was carrying it, there were several times that I felt like it was top heavy. That, you know, my gun was top heavy and it was sitting up here above my waistline, and I actually felt, you know, like it could fall out. It could fall out of my the entire holster could fall out of my pants, you know, which probably wouldn't be very likely, but it doesn't change the fact that that's what it felt like. And if you're not confident in the way that your holster and your firearm feel when you're carrying, you know, that's a big minus. I mean, you have to be comfortable with how you're carrying and be confident in that your firearm's secure. And like I said, I just don't feel that way about that holster. Hate to have to do a bad review on them, but that's my experience, guys. So thanks for checking it out, and hope it helped you. We'll talk to you later. Oh, also, guys, I forgot to mention, if you guys have any single clip holsters that you've tried out that have worked out well for you, let me know. Put it down in the comments, because I'm still looking for another one. I got that hog for my wife, and I like that quite a bit, but I'm still looking for something that's easy to take on and off. Not a hybrid holster or anything like that. Preferably just single clip with Kydex. But if you guys have a suggestion of one that's worked out for you well for you and it's comfortable, let me know down in the comments. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.